Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a candidate for Victoria ISD School Board is stepping away from the race. Plus, a powerful early morning blast rattled an entire neighborhood. Hear from residents who felt the shock and see what was left behind. And a dramatic tornado touchdown in central Texas was all caught on camera. What's next for the area as storms roll through?
Well, we have an alert day set up here for the severe weather that could potentially be coming down here in the crossroads. I'll have that coming up.
A community built around rockets could soon become Texas's newest city. What's at stake as Starbase heads to the polls? You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. We are keeping an eye on what could be severe weather for the crossroads later tonight. So let's go to Jacob Lozano with a first look at the forecast. And Jacob, when we say severe weather, what exactly are we keeping an eye out for?
Thanks, Shawna. Well, we're looking at some possible large hail, damaging winds, heavy downpours, and maybe a slight tornado risk farther north in our counties at the least. Now, this is all through tonight. We'll be done here by 2 a.m., but the enhanced risk is where we're going to see most of that stuff. So Cuero, Hallettsville, anything just right there around I-10 is going to receive a lot of just that severe weather. And I mean, look at that. We already have an outburst of just severe weather going on with a couple tornado warnings that have popped up in the hill country, some north of Houston. But we got these cells that are just moving. We got nothing going on right now here in Victoria, but we've got these monster cells just moving to the east, all close to I-10 that has been dropping quarter to dime-sized hail. As well as here in San Antonio, we're seeing the same effect here, but we'll have the timing of the front when it comes down here coming up in a full weather forecast. Shawna?
A tornado was caught on camera in central Texas Thursday, and you'll want to take a look at this. A storm spotter with the National Weather Service confirmed the tornado on the ground in northeast Burnett County around 4:30 p.m. The NBC station in Austin, KXAN, shot this video. A severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Burnett as well as Williamson County tonight, and there are threats of large hail followed by damaging winds and localized flooding. So stay tuned for the weather forecast. A three-man race for Victoria ISD School Board District 7 is now down to 2 after a candidate removes his name from the running. Christian West says he is stepping away for personal reasons that require him to leave the state for an extended period of time. West sent an email to the school district on Thursday to officially drop out of the race. Michael Costella and Joshua Moore remain in the race for the District 7 seat. Elections Administrator Margetta Hill says West's name will not be removed from the ballot, but there will need to be a special election if West wins. West says he does not plan on endorsing another candidate. There are a number of area races that we will be watching on election night tomorrow. The polls are open at 34 locations in Victoria County from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. Join us for the very latest Election Day coverage right here on 25 News Now and on our website, crossroadstoday.com. Now the Texas House is considering a bill to do away with May elections, which have the lowest turnout of any election. To read the full Texas Tribune article, visit crossroadstoday.com. Well, there's no word yet on what caused a house explosion that damaged a North Carolina neighborhood. As Eli Brand reports, people in the area said the effects of the explosion could be felt at least a block away.
Yeah, so I was just laying in bed about to get up about 6:15, and all of a sudden the house just started shaking. The windows were shaking.
A common reaction for neighbors like Isaac A.B. He says that he lives a distance away from the blast, but still heard it clearly. He says it was also plain to see what it looked like immediately after.
I thought my neighbors had dropped a huge piece of furniture or that a car had run into the house. So I obviously get up, look out the window, and just see, I live on Kings, looking across the street from Kings, across the Greenway, just saw smoke and fire in the air.
When we got to the house around 7 o'clock, you could see smoke still billowing into the air. A few hours later, when Chopper 9 Sky Zoom flew overhead, you could see the aftermath. Total destruction where a full home once stood. Charlotte Fire got the call around 6:15 Friday morning. It took 60 firefighters an hour to get the fire under control. They even had to call for backup once. John Knowles lives a few houses down from the blast.
From what I've heard, our neighbors across the street, they've had some cracked windows and stuff like that from the explosion. It shook the whole house this morning.
This is just one of those windows that shattered. The woman who lives here says the glass shattered right behind her head. Thankfully, she was not hurt.
We just heard a loud crash at first. Didn't really know what it was. Didn't know if it was someone wrecking on the street or anything like that.
One person was hurt, but they were treated and released. And just before that story, as we said, the Texas House is considering a bill that would do away with May elections because of low voter turnout. So for our viewer poll today, we're asking why you think May elections have such low turnout. Is it a lack of awareness, not enough important issues, inconvenient timing, or other? And other is leading by 49%. So if that is your choice, we ask you when you vote to also leave a comment to let us know more and kind of what that other reason is to you. And then 28% of voters say inconvenient timing. So visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have the latest results on 25 News Now at 6. The White House releases a budget blueprint that calls for more funding for defense and homeland security. It calls for boosting defense spending 13% to $1 trillion and $175 billion aimed toward border security. That's according to the Office of Management Budget. The White House recommends cuts to other sectors, including education, foreign aid, health, and public assistance programs. A more fulsome plan will be released in the coming weeks. The proposal provides recommendations to Congress, but lawmakers ultimately draft and approve the budget. NPR and PBS are losing federal funding after an executive order signed by President Trump Thursday. It tells the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CPB, to stop funding public radio and TV. CPB, which gets over $500 million a year, was created to stay independent from government control. But earlier this week, 3 of its 5 board members were suddenly fired by email. And now CPB is suing the administration. Critics, especially some Republicans, have long accused public broadcasters of leaning left. CPB says the funds are already approved and they're getting ready to respond. Texas could soon have a new city. Tomorrow, the nearly 300 registered voters who live in the area known as Starbase will vote on whether or not to incorporate and establish a small city government. Nearly all of the voters are SpaceX employees because Starbase is the location of Elon Musk's space company's launch site. Starbase has been around for about a decade, and Musk says he plans to expand its footprint, even potentially moving SpaceX's headquarters to the area. Critics of the vote say incorporating could allow SpaceX to skirt some regulations, but supporters say it will help ease the burden the area puts on Cameron County. The vote is expected to pass. A portion of J2 Ranch Road is closing for utility work. On Monday, drivers using J2 Ranch Road between Highway 77 and FM 444 will need to find a detour. That section will be closed from 8 a.m. to noon to replace culvert pipe. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell to receive alerts. Stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. A stroke can strike in seconds. Learn the subtle warning signs that could save a life. And new questions are swirling over the future of forever chemical regulations. Find out what's at stake for your drinking water. This week on Community Crossroads, how your ideas could help transform Victoria. From constable to fire marshal, Richard Castillo looks back at his service to the county. If you have a baby on the way, don't miss these must-know mom tips. We'll have summer fun with the YMCA. And who's faster, cops or kids?
The kids have a load of fun. They're getting to work with the officers, for a common goal. And the officers have just as much fun as the kids do.
Every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. has a stroke. That's according to the American Heart Association. And getting medical care quickly is critical and could mean the difference between life and death. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has these subtle signs of stroke that everyone should know. This is all in honor of Stroke Awareness Month.
It's a medical emergency when blood flow to the brain is disrupted, causing brain cells to die. It can lead to disability or even death. In the U.S., someone dies of stroke every 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
Our mantra is time is brain, and every minute really counts.
Dr. Jonathan Salamano with Cleveland Clinic says the phrase "be fast" can help you remember the subtle signs of stroke and what to do. B stands for balance if there's a sudden loss of coordination or dizziness. E is for eyes if there's unexpected vision loss or changes. F is for face. Facial drooping is a potential symptom. A, arm numbness or weakness on one side of the body. S is for speech. Slurred speaking or difficulty communicating or understanding could be a sign. Finally, T is time to call 911.
Those are all signs and symptoms that should be concerning.
Salamano says stroke risk rises with age, but it can happen to anyone. In fact, a CDC report found the number of young people having strokes is increasing. That's why knowing risk factors is key. Your chances for stroke increase if you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, if you smoke or abuse substances.
Oftentimes, young adults don't get their annual physical exams or might have undiagnosed conditions like blood pressure or high cholesterol that places them at increased risk.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The American Heart Association says having a heart-healthy lifestyle can also help lower risk of a number of health issues, including stroke. That includes eating a balanced, healthy diet like the Mediterranean diet and getting regular exercise. Public health experts are raising serious concerns about the EPA's new plans targeting PFAS chemicals. These are those so-called forever chemicals that don't break down and can build up in our bodies, linked to cancers and other health issues. The Biden administration had set rules to remove them from drinking water by 2029. But now under Trump's EPA, it's unclear if those rules will be enforced or changed. Industry groups are already suing, and critics worry the EPA may back off. Administrator Lee Zeldin says they're still working to keep PFAS out of water systems. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is asking the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to look for new treatments for measles. The Health and Human Services Secretary wants the CDC to look at medications and alternative therapies such as vitamins. In a statement, HHS noted the CDC recommends the measles vaccine as the most effective way to prevent the disease. But it added some people may choose not to get the shot and wants a way to support those people as well. There's also no specific treatment for measles once someone is infected. This comes as a measles outbreak in West Texas has grown to nearly 800 cases this week.
Well, we've got a lot of severe weather going on here in the Crossroads, a lot of lightning with some of these storms. But what are we going to see down here in the Crossroads? We'll have that coming up after the break. Well, good afternoon, Crossroads. We have an alert day here set up for today, Friday, for all counties where we could see some large hail, damaging winds, some heavy downpours at times, and maybe a slight tornado risk in some of our northern counties that are under an enhanced risk. If we take a look at the severe weather outlook for tonight, that slight risk that was up there now has shifted down throughout South Texas, including our Crossroads counties, and an enhanced risk has taken place here for us where those severities are, let's just say, enhanced. So a tornado is going to be possible along that I-10 corridor. We've already seen some in a tornado warning out in the Hill Country, as well as a tornado warning out here in East Texas. So now let's take a look at these thunderstorms that are going on right now. They're all right above I-10. They've just been sitting right there. Lots of lightning, pea-sized hail up to quarter-sized hail is what I've been seeing with some of these storms. We'll take a look at this storm right here. It's been dropping some quarter-sized hail, and it's just been sitting there. I mean, I'm surprised there's not a flash flood warning yet for this area, but hail is going to be the conversation with this thing. A little bit of rotation in this storm over here in New Braunfels that has been just dropping tons of rain and some decent-sized hailstones across the Bexar County region. Now, severe thunderstorm warning has been in effect, and we are in a severe thunderstorm watch for our northern counties here in Cuero as far as northward, but wouldn't be surprised if it starts to come back down here after 8 p.m. Now, timing of this front, we're going to start to see it start to slowly make its way down here by 6 p.m., crossing I-10, but still keeping that severity with it. But by 8 p.m., we're going to start to see it kind of just weaken here quite a bit here before it gets into Cuero, but you can't necessarily just rule that all out yet for severity-wise. We're still going to continue to monitor this because it starts to dissipate its line, but you start to still see these heavy pockets of just isolated heavy thunderstorms. So looking right now, Victoria is a little bit in the clear, but we're not going to just rule that out just yet because we still have a possibility by noontime for a decent pocket right here of heavy thunderstorms to move over Victoria. But B County, farther down south to 37 is looking to have some severity along with that as well, but keeping it pretty light. But by 2 a.m., we're going to be out of there in Victoria, but right in Port Lavaca area, we'll start to get it there. And by 4 a.m., it'll be all said and done. We'll have just a little bit of lingering cloud cover, but temperatures are going to be quite nice for the region. And I will be with y'all for tonight, watching all of these storms as they begin to roll on out of here. Now for Cuero, tomorrow morning, we'll get those northerly winds to push in with 66 degrees, 81 as our high. It's going to be a little bit of a cool day for us because of those northerly winds. Just a little cool down. I mean, we can see those thunderstorms there in the background there in Cuero, but partly cloudy skies are what we're going to see, as well as here in Victoria. Start to see some cloudy conditions in the morning, get some partly cloudy skies, 82 degrees as our high with those northeasterly winds blowing at about 15 miles per hour. So it'll be a nice cool day for us here in the Crossroads. Now, 20% chance Saturday just for those lingering showers. Sunday, mostly sunny skies, and honestly, rain chances are going to begin to increase here as we go into Monday and Tuesday with windy conditions. We get those southeasterly winds, but look at that, 59 degrees Sunday morning. Now, we're going to continue to monitor this system throughout the night. We're expecting it to move in here tonight, so I will be with y'all for tonight, giving y'all updates if anything severe begins to pop up around the Crossroads region. Now, don't forget to scan the QR code for more news, weather, and sports. Shawna?
A major payment platform hit a snag this morning. A look at what's behind the Zelle outage and how it could affect your transactions coming up next. U.S. stocks closed in the green today as investors digested a better than expected jobs report. The Dow gained 564 points, while the Nasdaq jumped 267 points. The S&P 500 also closed higher by 83 points, marking its first 9-day winning streak since 2004. Oil is down 89 cents to $58.40 per barrel. Americans are utilizing Buy Now, Pay Later loans, or BNPL, to buy everyday items. While these loans are not new, as Lee Waldman reports, the way people use them is changing.
While these Buy Now, Pay Later loans have historically been used for big purchases like furniture or entertainment, now many Americans are using them for everyday items like groceries or food delivery. Experts believe with the state of the economy, this trend will continue.
It's a good way to get some things I either need or want, and to be able to manage my expenses in a way that also keeps me a little more fluid and flexible.
For the past year, Javon Frinks has taken advantage of the Buy Now, Pay Later loan service Affirm.
Even before you make the purchase, it tells you how much is each payment going to be, how often.
He's not alone. According to Bankrate economic analyst Sarah Foster, 2 in 5 Americans have used a Buy Now, Pay Later service.
We're seeing that even stress levels about just affording everyday expenses and saving for emergencies, those are rising.
A study by Lending Tree found that a quarter of Buy Now, Pay Later users say they've used the loans to buy groceries. That's up from 14% just a year ago. Meanwhile, 2/3 say they'd consider using loans for food delivery. George Camel, a personal finance expert, warns these loans can be a slippery slope of overspending and debt accumulation.
You get hit with late fees, $7 per missed payment. You get hit with a crazy APR of up to 34% with Klarna if you miss these payments.
Both experts agree. With tariff talks and the U.S. economy having its worst quarter since 2022, these BNPL loans are here to stay.
It's scary to see the growth of these companies, and unfortunately, I don't think it's an option people are wanting to turn to.
The fact that prices are, threatening to increase again, it just really comes at a tough time for them.
Foster says these rising prices are also negatively impacting Americans' mental health, saying that these rising costs are part of the reason why they feel so stressed about their money. In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
Zelle experienced an outage this morning that caused payment problems for customers at some banks. In a statement, a company spokesperson said they are working to resolve the matter. Due to the outage, Zelle customers may see their transactions marked as payment pending. The popular payment platform has not said which banks are impacted, but according to Down Detector, Zelle customers from Truist and Navy Federal Credit Union first reported the issue. Representatives from Bank of America also said they're seeing a delay in payments. No word yet on how long the outage is expected to last. The U.S. economy added a stronger than expected 177,000 jobs in April. That was a slight slowdown from March, though, but it was more than the 135,000 jobs economists were expecting the economy to add last month. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate was unchanged at 4.2%, a historically low level. That number was in line with economists' expectations. OpenAI has withdrawn an update to ChatGPT. The rollback comes just 4 days after the update was introduced. The decision was made after ChatGPT was criticized on social media. Users said ChatGPT would react with exaggerated praise to their prompts. Experts have long warned of the dangers associated with chatbot predisposition to syncopathic behavior. That's the term used in the industry to describe what happens when large language models tailor their responses to the user's perceived beliefs. OpenAI announced it would allow people to use an earlier version that displayed more balanced behavior. Well, do you think you're fit? Up next, we'll meet the 98-year-old in Hawaii who just might outpace you and has some lively advice for the rest of us.
Tonight, President Trump's tariffs, the uncertainty for American families as businesses scramble to get goods into the U.S., and who will be the next pope. David Muir will be there. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America.
A 98-year-old man, 98, in Hawaii, maybe older than you, but he's possibly in better shape. John Hayakawa has been training with a professional racquetball player and MMA fighter for 2 years. It all started because he was having trouble getting in and out of his car. Well, now he can lift weights. We saw him flipping that big tractor tire, and he has the bounce in his step back. Hayakawa says instead of saving money to go to a nursing home later in life, spend it now to improve your health. So his advice for those youngsters in their 50s and 60s, or even younger, quote, get off your duff. But we were talking about it. I think in Hawaii, you're around the water, you have fresh air, you're moving, you're not sitting on your duff, as he would say.
Yeah, not necessarily. But I mean, if you're lifting weights like that, I mean,
98.
Wow, it's incredible. I need to get back in the gym. Is basically what I'm hearing right now. Now we're looking at some severe weather for tonight. Looking at the radar right now, there's a lot of severe weather north of I-10, but that's going to be slowly crossing here by 6 p.m. and we'll start to see what that does when it crosses down here in the I-10 corridor. But for right now, Victoria and the crossroads are more or less safe, but we're going to see the severe weather start to pop up here in the region. But the next 7 days going to be quite nice, let's just say, for the weekend. But the rain chances are going to be popping back up here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But it's going to be pretty much of a cool week. The next 7 days we'll keep those northerly winds.
Right.
So
you were saying the timing of this, so if you're wanting to go out to dinner tonight.
You can go out to dinner tonight.
Okay.
Set 8, 9, 10 o'clock would probably be the time frame.
All right, we'll be keeping an eye on it. We'll see you at 6.